Hi everyone and welcome. In today's video, I'm going to be taking these three vintage boxes. I'm going to be transforming them into a great centerpiece for my Alice in Wonderland Christmas in July tablescape. I had a couple of different inspirations, one of them being these great new placemats that I recently found at HomeSense. They were $16.99, only four. I was so hoping for another set, but that's okay. I'm going to work with these and I'm really excited. Let's start this DIY with the middle-sized box. I purchased this beautiful green velvet fabric from Dollarama for about $3.50. So what I'm going to do here is measure out the circumference of our box and as well as the height, and then I'm going to measure it out right onto our fabric, but I am going to cut out a little bit bigger than the size of the box because I want to be able to wrap around that open side of the box so that we have a nice finish. Now at the other end of the box, it's not a perfect finish, so I will show you how I take care of that a bit later. So working with a cylinder box, not an easy thing, let me tell you, because it doesn't have the flat surface, it sort of rolls away on you. So I had to get a bit used to using that, but I conquered that little dilemma quite well, and we're okay. So I continue to wrap the box here. I'm finishing off just the last bit there. Just hot gluing all around. That one side is really nicely finished because I was able to go over the edge with the fabric. And then our last bead of glue there, once I have that glued down, I simply cut off the excess and try to cut it as straight as possible. So in order to finish off the top, I'm going to use the lid to sort of guide me as to how large I want this. Now, I could have traced this lid to have that perfect circle, but what I want is a little extra or a little bigger than this lid so that it does go over the edge a little and has a nicer finish. So I sort of laugh at this point because the lid is sort of getting away from me, but we did okay here, and I'm just going to cut off those pointy edges until we have a nice circle, and then just simply glue that right down. We're just finishing off the edge there, and because we're using the same fabric, you really don't notice the edge much, but I am going to trim it off anyway to give it a little more of a fancy look. So I'm taking the smaller box of the three. I'm doing the exact same thing here. I'm just wrapping it. I don't know if it's because the box is smaller, but this went by much, much faster than that first box that I wrapped. And I think it ended up coming out a little more perfect looking as well. So before we get to the top there, I don't want to bore you with doing that again. I'm going to show you how I just wrap the sort of center of the box here with this beautiful Christmas ribbon. It's my favorite of all my Christmas ribbons. And this Harlequin pattern is perfect for an Alice in Wonderland theme. So I'm simply wrapping it around. I'm going to fold over the edge so that it looks sort of perfect. And then I'm going to simply glue that down. So that's what it looks like there. I'm going to take the trim that I have here in my little Christmas craft bag. I'm going to wrap it all around and finish that off really nicely. And this is what we're looking like so far. There's much more to come on this centerpiece. Stay tuned. I'll show you what we do next. Taking the largest of our three boxes, what I did was I printed off this beautiful Harlequin pattern that I think will match the placemats really, really well that I showed you at the beginning of this video. So I printed it off and I made sure to put it on some nice sort of flimsy, flexible paper so that it was very easy to work with. And all I'm going to do is simply glue it onto our base, making sure that it's on nice and securely. And this is a bit of a different little technique I'm going to use to get that nice edge. I'm simply cutting slits into the paper, several slits here. You can see this comes loose, so it's very important to make sure that it's sort of glued down well before you start doing this part. And so I just go all around, make sure to have that all nicely trimmed, and then I glue the tip of each of these little tabs and I fold them over. And this ensures that we have that really nice seamless edge there. So I continued to do that here. I went ahead before and cut out a circle, a perfect circle, because I do want this one to just sit on top. I don't need to glue it over because I'm using paper. There we go, all done, both pieces of paper, and then again that round circle that I cut out from our paper. Lots of glue to ensure that it sticks nicely, and then just securing that on. It's coming along pretty well. So I did go ahead and trim the top there so that it matched the other box just on top of it. So I'm gluing this wooden snowman down. Yes, it's a snowman. I'm just using it to secure this great little top hat, this Mad Hatter top hat that I got online, printing it off. Now, yes, I'm using a purple little ornament there. I'll show you when I set the table why I'm using purple. And I'm not securing that purple ornament. I don't think I will use it for Christmas come December. So I'm just letting it stand there. And then I'm just gluing down a little Merry Christmas piece there and some holly leaves and berries to really bring in that Christmas look. Now I took another piece of this green velvet fabric and I took sort of a strip so that I can drape it across. And I think that's going to really give it a really nice final touch. I love this draping effect. I'll show you a better angle in just a moment. Here we go. Before we put our centerpiece in place, we have to set the table. So I bought this great red fabric. It's also a roll of velvet, just like the green one I used in the DIY from Dollarama. It's in person a deeper red than we see here, but nonetheless, it's perfect for Christmas. So here are the new placemats that I bought. For me and the way I decorate, these placemats will take me all throughout the year for all the different holidays and seasons. I love these and I'm on the hunt for another 4 because I was only able to find the 4. On top of those, unfortunately, we have to cover these placemats a bit with chargers. And so I have these red chargers, which go absolutely perfectly with that runner. On top of the chargers, just simple white dinner plates. Sometimes white pops so wonderfully against color, and so I really like using these. Now, what I do very often when I'm using a clear salad plate is I will find a print that goes with the theme that I'm using. I found this gorgeous print. It is Alice in Wonderland, Christmas themed. You see that Christmas tree in the back and those Christmas swags. What I simply did was outlined my salad plate, and so I'm going to cut this out. You can see that Alice and the rabbit and the Mad Hatter are sitting down to tea for Christmas, and this is just simply gorgeous in my opinion. Now you may notice there that Alice is sitting on a purple chair, and that's why I use that purple ornament on the DIY that I made. So once we have that cut out, we put it on our table with our salad plate on top. Doesn't that look great? Now to bring in that purple even a little bit more, I've decided to use my purple napkins, and I'll show you here that this is one way that I could use the purple napkins. I'm not sure what happened with the camera here, but it's sort of on its side. But you can see this is one way that I could use the napkins, but I really wanted to incorporate these teapot napkin rings to symbolize the Mad Hatter Tea Party. So I went ahead and folded my purple napkins and fed them through the napkin rings, and I think this looks perfect. We added some cutlery here, and then a wine glass, and of course, tea cups. Can't have a tea party without teacups, and then our beautiful teaspoon there with a little teapot on top. And our centerpiece. This is our DIY. I really had a lot of fun making this. Now, please keep watching. I do have some bonus vignettes I've styled for you at the end of this video. I do want to take this opportunity to mention that this video is part of a collaboration that I was asked to co-host. Our host is Annie of Indie Annie Jones, a sweet, dear YouTube friend who I so adore. Anytime I collaborate with her, I have so much fun, and the theme is always whimsical and fun. I had so much fun doing this, and I really have to thank you, Annie. I know you're watching. I have to thank you for asking me to co-host. To everyone watching, please link on the playlist in my description so you can watch everyone's creation. And thank you to everyone who has participated in this playlist. I'm so anxious to see what you have all come up with. Let's start here with vignette number 1 for our Alice in Wonderland Christmas in July theme. Here we have a steampunk top hat that I think the Mad Hatter would love to have in his collection, and a nice sort of blush pink or dusty rose vignette here with a Christmas tree and a nice little nutcracker and that great candle there on a nice little scarf. So here we go with vignette number 2. We've got a tea theme, of course, for our Mad Hatter Tea Party. This is a little DIY that I made last year, I believe, or the year before, when I collaborated with Annie. And we have sort of these Christmas teacups here, of course, our Harlequin pattern. And if we change up the teacups, we have a little bit of a different look. And I think that's perfect for our theme here. Now let's move on to vignette number 3. Here we have all sorts of colors going on and different patterns. Of course, the Harlequin pattern is synonymous with Alice in Wonderland. So is a checkered pattern, which I love so much, which you can see in these little teapots here. And of course, I have a little, or rather a big pine cone there to really bring in the Christmas. And now vignette number 4. This is our final vignette. This is very black and white with a splash of red for Christmas. Another top hat to symbolize our Mad Hatter. I absolutely love this pattern. You can see I have a lot of it, and I think it's just wonderful. So I want to take this opportunity again to thank my dear friend Annie for asking me to co-host with her. Perhaps she knows that I love Alice in Wonderland. That's why she asked me to co-host. Thank you so much, Annie. You're such an angel. I'm so happy to know you. Please go over to Annie's channel. Show her some love. Please let her know I say hello. Please watch the entire playlist. I know you won't be disappointed with all the creativity.